Here's a look at shares of Cineplex today, down by more than 3%, even as the movie theater reported higher revenue and swung to a profit in its latest quarter as attendance went up. For all this good news, the results appear to have fallen short of analyst estimates. Talking with us now is Ellis Jacob. He, of course, is the Chief Executive Officer of Cineplex. Ellis, thanks a lot for joining us. How would you characterize these results? There were certainly some big double-digit increases in things like revenue, EBITDA, which I'll get you to explain. That's not EBITDA, but EBITDA, and reported net income as well.
Yes, and thank you for having me. And, our overall revenue in the fourth quarter was up over 15%. And our EBITDA, which compared to last year was up over 66%. And the EBITDA is basically the earnings before interest, taxes, amortization, and exclude leases. So it's easier to understand. It's a comparative that, we measure as an organization, and that's the one that's based on how the company is performing. So we felt very strong about the fourth quarter. We had some big product that delivered nicely for us. Wicked 2 was very strong. Then we had Gladiator, and we had Moana 2. And what's great is Moana was the first, when Disney had it the first time around, they put it into streaming. This time they went theatrical, and it's done extremely well for them. So we are still the engine that drives the train and bring guests back to the movie theaters because of the great experience they have when they are in our locations.
We're now right in the thick of awards season. Do all the headlines and news around the Academy Awards, the Golden Globes, the Screen Actor Guild Awards, do they drive people into the theaters?
Yes, and we are seeing a much stronger year from those types of movies, and we expect that will continue until the awards, and will continue after that. But we have a big weekend coming up with Captain America: Brave New World, which is opening on Friday, and we've got Paddington in Peru, which is also opening. Then we've got a very strong Mandarin movie. It's called Niza 2. Which is also opening at the same time. And that movie has done close to $1 billion in China. So we're expecting it to do really well here. And we've got a Bollywood movie called Shahava, which is in Hindi. So as Cineplex, we've really focused on looking at international content, and we've done extremely well with it. Used to be a little over 2% of our business. Now it's way over 10%.
Do you do live sports at all? Years and years ago, I attended whatever the big international hockey tournament was at the time, where I watched Sidney Crosby score the so-called golden goal in a Cineplex theater. Are live sports a part of the offering?
Yeah, we still do certain live sports if we can get the content. I'm sure you remember when the Raptors were playing, and we had that on the screens and how extremely well they did. Now we even do things like cricket, which have done extremely well and have sold out in a lot of locations across the country. And, opera has come back in a big way after being, down for a number of years with COVID and other things. So we are quite excited about the future and where the business is headed with content coming back. And now that COVID and the strikes are behind us.
Are those things material to the very large numbers that you report, things like opera, things like cricket?
They all add up, and at the end of the day, one thing it does for us, it brings our guests back to have that experience in our theaters. And to me, that's very meaningful because of the different ways we offer all of these different programs, including movies. And 41% of our revenue came from premium offerings, and certain movies like Dune did over 60% from premium offerings.
Where is the company now in terms of its key metrics compared to the year 2019, which is the year before the pandemic really changed everything?
We are getting there. We are going to basically, we feel with about 75 to 80% of the attendance deliver the same EBITDA as we had in 2019. And that's our focus and our target. And I think, through 25 and into 26, we will be in a strong position to deliver that.
You mentioned Netflix opting to put one of his movies into theaters, which was a reversal of an earlier decision to take. Where do we stand now in terms of the tug of war between the streaming services and theater exhibitors like yourself in terms of high-profile films and where they debut and a period of exclusivity for the theaters?
Well, we are doing that with Amazon and Apple, and that's going really well with them. With Netflix, it's been a little more difficult. In the past, we did the sequel to Knives Out, and I worked out a deal with Ted Sarandos, and the movie, he gave it to us for a number of days, and it did extremely well for him and for us. So we will continue to look at those opportunities, but we feel, Amazon and Apple have been much closer to, working on those opportunities.
Ellis, thank you so much for a portion of your time today. Ellis Jacob is the Chief Executive Officer, of course, of Cineplex.